During Saint Dr. Cunningham or Dr. Saint Cunningham's trial, the 16th Dalai Lama parachuted onto the Tashilampu monastery with 400 followers. Every single one of them was armed with guns. Big old Chinese guns. The Panchen Lama later claims that most of the 16th Dalai Lama's followers were in fact mercenaries. The 16th Dalai Lama denied this, saying it was silly. Mercenaries or not, the 16th Dalai Lama's men successfully stormed the monastery with only minor losses. But the 16th Dalai Lama's real quarry, the 17th Dalai Lama, managed to escape and was already on the Orient Express, guarded by 5 of the Panchen Lama's most trusted monks, bound for Switzerland. When news of the 17th Dalai Lama's escape reached the 16th Dalai Lama, he laughed like crazy. The monks of the Tashilampu monastery, formerly loyal to the Panchen Lama and the 17th Dalai Lama, were marched to the betting shop at the base of the monastery, where they were forced to place vast sums of money on the metaphysical bet that the 16th Dalai Lama was the real spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism. Edgar subsequently declared such bets null and void because they had been made under duress. The 16th Dalai Lama told reporters that the storming of the Tashilampu monastery was nothing. In a former life, he had been present at the siege of Stalingrad. Now that was something, he said. Within days, a sizable army of supporters of the Panchen Lama and the 17th Dalai Lama marched on Tashilampu. In overall command was the Panchen Lama himself. For 3 days and nights the monastery was shelled by a battery of mountain guns, last used in 1879 by the Afghan army. After this bombardment, monks loyal to the Panchen Lama assaulted the monastery with wicker chairs. The 16th Dalai Lama and his men drove off repeated attacks, but things were not looking good. Ammunition was running out, and the number of Tibetan Buddhists betting on the old Dalai Lama, the old Dalai Lama's cause, was at an all-time low. As the fighting continued at the Tashilampu monastery, the Methodist Church, with over 40 million adult members, was proclaimed insolvent, as were 14 Baptist churches, most of them in the United States, while in Battersea Park Buddhists burned an effigy of Edgar Malroy next to the Peace Pagoda. Part 2, Chapter 34. The ancient mountain guns were preparing to fire on the Tashilampu monastery when Edgar and I flew in a white helicopter with question marks on its doors. I was crammed full of money, which Edgar gave out to everyone in sight. At first, the Panchen Lama refused to talk to Edgar, but eventually Edgar managed to get both sides to agree a ceasefire, and a little later negotiated terms for a total cessation of fighting. The terms for the total cessation of fighting were these: if the 16th Dalai Lama and his men put down their arms, they would be allowed to leave the country. Edgar told the 16th Dalai Lama that it was the best that he could do. Edgar, the 16th Dalai Lama and myself left the smoking remains of the Tashilampu monastery in the helicopter. An hour later, Edgar and the 16th Dalai Lama argued about karma and the 5 realms of the Wheel of Life, non-stop for 12 hours, as we flew back to London in a Scepticism jet. There, the 16th Dalai Lama was interviewed on Who Knows TV and given a peanut and a block of Perspex. All during the interview on Who Knows TV, the 16th Dalai Lama had been covered head to foot in bits of plaster from the Tashilampu monastery. Every single mosque in Tunisia was closed due to a lack of funds. A day later, Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran issued a fatwa calling for the death of Edgar Malroy for his impudence to Allah. The fatwa went like this: Edgar Malroy is a very serious infidel. We have issued a decree against him. He must be killed. God is great. When news of the fatwa reached Edgar Malvoy, he said that it was about time too.